Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Bedouin. I am the moderator of San Antonio Baptist Association, and I'm here with my friend Jerry Knupp. He is a member of the SABA board, and he is in charge of the leadership development team. And we're going to take you through Around the Horn. This is when we sit down and look at upcoming events and news from San Antonio Baptist Association. Jerry, why don't you tell us about the first thing we have on our list?
Well, pretty exciting. We have had a relationship for a little while with Victory Baptist Association in India. Pandu Madella is our liaison, our connection that's there. And just on March 26th, we had an event called SABA Praise. And at that event, we collected... we took up an offering. We collected enough to purchase 600 Bibles in the Telugu language and sent those to the association. I've seen videos where they've really been blessed by the reception of those Bibles as well. So good stuff.
Yeah, Victory Baptist Association is just blowing up in India, and it's a fantastic partnership that we have.
Amen.
Another thing that we did last month, March 25th, we did a workshop called The Gospel and the Rosary. It was hosted by Dr. Daniel Sanchez. 38 people participated. It was a fantastic way to use the rosary as a method of presenting the plan of salvation to people, and not doing the rosary, but using the concepts behind the rosary as kind of a jumping off point for the gospel as we share the gospel with Catholic folks around us.
Sure. I think it was in Spanish too.
Yeah.
Also, pretty excited about this. The Send Network. We have cohort training for church planters. We trained 12 trainers. I happen to be one of them. So we trained 12 trainers last week to help equip those who will be starting churches here in the San Antonio area. So just adding not only to the bench of those who will be starting churches, but adding to the bench of those who will be equipping those as well. So exciting things happening there. We need churches in San Antonio.
Fantastic, yeah.
This happens to church planters all the time. Guys jump out there to plant and think, I don't need training, I don't need coaching, but there's these missing pieces that they don't understand. And they get out in there to the world of actually planting, and they start getting hit in the face by the challenges that come with planting and pastoring, and that's why we're here.
We were able to meet together today on learning how to be a trainer for the cohort.
We've never seen this great of information.
It's been amazing. I'm learning a lot of great techniques on how to actually lead people through a training session. It's phenomenal stuff. I'm enjoying it very much.
So, they've got on June 3rd through the 5th, we've got a church starting and renewal retreat for those who are part of the culture and movement that we're seeking to create in SABA. That's one of the things we talk about. We have like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people moving into the San Antonio area. And I think the statistic out there is the average church size in San Antonio is 75 to 100, right? So we can't reach all of these people, even if our churches were just on fire and doing stuff like that. So we need to be planting new churches and creating a culture of that. And so this is an opportunity to work with those folks who are involved in church planting to get them moving in the right direction and help feed that culture of church planting we want to have here.
Yeah. We had several come through our cohort program, our new church planters, like I said, building that bench. And just recently, we had a banquet here at SABA here in our building, where we recognized several who had gone through the program, had received the certificate of cohort training, and were ready to plant a church from that perspective. At least some of them had already obviously planted or involved with churches already, but it was just a great time of celebrating, again, just building that culture and encouraging and equipping. And I think the statistic is like there's 65, we're growing at a rate of like 65 people a day in San Antonio. Yeah. And so, we need churches, we need planters, and this is, again, just the cohort training and a great celebration that took place there.
It's kind of hard sometimes as pastors. I know that, as churches, sometimes we can become adversarial and kind of see it as a zero-sum game, but breaking out of that modality where we think where we view church planting and church starts as the enemy, when the reality is that's the mission.
That's right.
It's our mission to grow and plant churches. That's what we need to be about.
That's right. That's right.
So another thing that we've got going on is our executive leadership team where we're going to be working with LACY Central University in Mexico. This is an organization that partners with Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, and Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary to offer cross-cultural classes using material from the International Mission Board to provide quality theological education for Spanish speakers in different places, but here in San Antonio. And this is a fantastic, because we go back to that church planting thing, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're going to have to plant hundreds of churches in the next several years to be able to meet this influx, and a huge number of these people are Spanish speakers, we need to have theologically trained Spanish-speaking pastors.
Absolutely. Something I didn't realize until I was part of a telephone call related to that is the United States is the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. United States. Did you know that? That blew my mind. I didn't know that. So so this is a great opportunity, and it's accredited. We can take them all the way through. I think it's a master level degree, but you can start them off even at a GED level, and it's going to be wonderful for our city. So the other thing that we need to talk about is on June 11th at True Vine Baptist Church. I just talked about a Baptist SABA praise event where we collected some funds to buy Telugu Bibles. We're having another one of those. It's a prayer event. 10 churches, a couple of Christian organizations been invited to participate on June 11th at True Vine Baptist Church. We'll be using the Lord's Prayer as our guide for the event. That's always a good thing. That's always kind of a positive way to pray, right? And an offering will be taking up there as well. To help defray the cost of translating 200 different videos into 20 plus languages for the 40,000 churches in the Asia Pacific Baptist Federation. Man, what exciting stuff. Yeah. And what's really cool is this is all we're hoping will originate from, at least the people who are putting this together will be those that come through our summer tech camp project. So it'll be some young people, junior high and high school students, helping to put together kingdom advancing gospel materials that will be used, across the world. It's just what a way to empower these young people just for the kingdom.
That's one of the things I'm really excited. We talk about this over and over again with SABA. Like, we are stronger together, right? Yeah. Most churches in the United States are under 100, and a huge number of them are under 50. And for a small church, it's really hard to feel like you have a global impact. But when you participate with other churches in SABA, it gives you the opportunity to be involved in some of this amazing stuff, like sending good discipleship content out to the Asia Pacific Baptist Association, working and planting churches and building up pastors. This is our job, right? And so when we come together, man, I can't do that on my own. No. But when we come together, we can begin to pool these resources, and we can do amazing things.
It's kind of biblical scale.
Yeah, it's almost
awesome.
It's almost like it was designed that way, right? I don't know. I think I read about it somewhere, but I'm not sure. I read a lot of stuff. Next thing we got going on is we're going to kind of dovetail off. This is our summer tech camp. If you've got a junior hire or a high schooler in your church that's tech savvy, and they're the ones that are always trying to do stuff, and they want to get better at this, then you need to sign them up. You need to sign them up right now to take part in the SABA Summer Tech Camp, okay? This is going to be June 12th through the 16th. We're going to be focusing on junior high and high school students on sharpening their skills, right? Using these skills in the local church to help improve the quality of what the churches are already doing. Man, we are in an era when technology has given us the ability to do far more than we ever could, right? And so, but you got to have knowledge to be able to leverage that. Yeah. Okay. You need to take advantage of some of these hipsters with deep V-necks that are just out there speaking a language you don't understand, and that's okay. You don't have to understand it. but you can we got some hipsters in the office here.
Yeah, we do.
SABA employs hipsters to teach your youth how to do technology
In a very hip way.
In a very hip way, right?
Yes.
And so some of the, I mean, we're all joking, but some of the tools that these guys
Absolutely.
have are incredible, right? And so, you know, to be effective, right, we need to sharpen that saw. We need to get our people trained to be able to use these tools to be able to share the gospel and spread the kingdom.
So this will be a direct benefit to the church,
Yeah.
right, to your local church, but also, as we talked about just a few minutes ago, these are young people who are going to have a very real opportunity to impact the kingdom worldwide. This is awesome. So yeah, sign them up now, and it's going to be good stuff. SABA's annual gathering is going to be Sunday, October 15th at 4 p.m. Right, so we'll have, and it's always been a lot of fun lately. Our gatherings has been centered around prayer and around just kind of the multicultural experience that we have in the city. So we're going to have a praise team leading in multiple languages in October at our national gathering, at our annual gathering. There's going to be ministers leading in congregational prayer. 7 or more different languages will be used. God hears them all, fortunately. I won't understand all of them, but we have a God who does. And an invitation will be given to respond to God's call on individual lives. So that'll be an exciting time. It's a few months away, but that's going to be an exciting time.
I always think it's really cool when we get together like that. You know, we live in a world that is supposed to be all about tolerance and all about multiculturalism, and ultimately what it never ends up panning out the way that it should until God's church comes together. I mean, when we start praying in all those languages and we start realizing that, man, Christianity is about more than just my particular context and my
Amen.
particular box, and we get to see what the gospel looks like as it spreads. It's fantastic. So Jerry Kennup,
I know
and
that guy.
Daryl Horn, these two.
I know that guy too,
Daryl
as it
Horn, right?
happens,
You should
yeah.
have a big picture of him that's going to be conjured right in front. So just in case you forgot who Daryl is,
Yes, I'm sure it'll be
he's
right
going to be
there.
hosting a peer learning group on the book titled "Canoeing in the Mountains." And that, guys, if you are in ministry. And you are leading your church through organizational change, which, let's be real, 90% of our churches are in decline or plateaued. You need to be leading your church through institutional change. If you haven't started, you will. And what you're going to realize is that the world that you were trained to minister to no longer exists.
It's gone.
Right? And so Canoeing in the Mountain is this fantastic book. The title is really cool because it's based on
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, on Lewis and Clark, who planned their entire trip. They thought they were going to go up the Missouri River and then get to the mountains, and they thought the mountains were going to be like the Appalachians, and they just go up over the mountains, and they were going to get in the Columbia and sail to the Pacific. And it's about that moment as they come up over the Lemhi Pass and look out and see the Bitterroot Range of the Rocky Mountains and realized we are not in Kansas anymore.
That's right.
And
That's
that
right.
moment, all of us are encountering that. And it's what do we do next?
Yeah,
And
I've
so
never-
if you're excited about that, if you want to participate in that, come and listen to my friend Jerry Kennup and Daryl Horn as they lead us through that book.
We were just told about this, so this is kind of exciting. SABA, San Antonio Baptist Association, is one of the healthier associations in Texas, maybe even beyond. And so there is just an associational gathering of representatives from I think it's 12 different associations. We're just going to kind of come together. I'm not. You are. You'll get to go do that.
Because I'm very important.
Yeah, because you're the high
Super, I'm the
moderated one.
The under shepherd.
Yes. So
The underest of under shepherds.
so at any rate, directors, moderators, vice moderators are going to come together representing these 12 different associations across Texas, especially South Texas, and come together and just work out a plan on how we can work together. As you kind of alluded to earlier, as local churches, we're not in competition with each other, and as associations of churches, we're not in competition with each other. So how can we best benefit one another? And so it's really an exciting thing just to kind of see unity within the body of Christ working out and see how that can come together. I'm excited about that.
We just want to remind you guys that the mission of San Antonio Baptist Association is to connect, encourage, and support local churches in San Antonio for kingdom impact. This is how we come together. We do this in a number of different ways. We have different kind of groups that deal with specific issues. And so if you are not a part of SABA, if you haven't been a part of an association, maybe you don't know what they do, I would encourage you come to one of our gatherings, see who we are, and partner with us, because we can do more together than we can apart. Now, by common consent, we're going to go to what is generally one of our most popular parts of
I can
this
only
segment.
imagine. I can only
and
imagine.
so now my friend Jerry and I are going to react to some TikTok videos from across the TikTokaverse. These have all been vetted by the Chinese military, and they're
Yes, I'm
okay
sure.
for America.
I'm sure.
So let's show it. What do we got? We have
one video.
One video. Apparently, we can only handle one video. So
I recognized yesterday I made a post that was hurtful to the Pride community, which includes friends of mine and close family members of mine, and I am truly sorry for that. I just spoke with my teammates and shared with them my actions yesterday. I apologize with them, and as of right now, I'm using the Blue Jays resources to better educate myself, to make better decisions moving forward. The ballpark is for everybody. We include all fans at the ballpark, and we want to welcome everybody. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
wow. So what I would say is maybe, Anthony, you should blink if you're being coerced into making this statement. But yeah, wow. There's if you're gonna roll over,
Okay.
and cower before the wrath of the LGBTQIA plus minus smiley face community, that's how you do it, I guess.
There's what's the old saying? Yeah, if you don't stand for something, I guess you're gonna fall for anything. And I guess in this case, I mean, I don't know all the details that surround that. I know the group, the sisters who are brothers of the perpetual.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. Were part of that celebration, I guess. They were invited, then they were disinvited, then they were re-invited. So he took a stand and said, I don't agree with that. I don't know his exact words. I'm totally being general here. I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. I stand on biblical truth. And that's where my understanding is that's where he took his stand on the Bible. He claims to be a believer.
Yeah.
And then when his career, his paycheck is threatened, then he rolls over. And I'm reminded of in Acts chapter 1, right, where Jesus says, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses. You know this better than I do, right? That word translated witnesses, the original word is really the word we get martyr from.
Yeah, man.
And so and a few of us are, so far anyway, few of us are being called to lay our lives down, literally to die to be a witness for the case of, for the sake of the gospel. But how many, we're going to see lots of opportunities like this in this culture where a Christian, takes a bold stand, and then we just live in a culture where, face it, we're gonna face incredible pushback. Yeah. And we need to be able to speak the truth in love, stand firm on convictions. If I say something to offend someone that's my opinion or just comes from my sinful personality, that's one thing. I should apologize for that, ask for forgiveness for that. But if I stand on biblical principles, I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing, guys.
I mean, I do know.
And I'm going to say and this is probably going to get me removed from the show, but
I go with you.
Look, you can say whatever you want to about Colin Kaepernick, and I'm not a huge fan of him.
Right.
But that guy had the guts to stand on what he believed.
I agree with you.
Right? Now, I disagree with him, but
Right.
you know what? The brother had the guts to stand on what he believed. You know why we're dealing with the LGBTQ movement right now? Because they had the guts to put their lives and their futures and everything on the line.
I agree.
For their particular broken view of humanity.
I agree.
And brothers and sisters, if we're not willing to do the same thing, what does that say about the power of the gospel, if we're not willing to stand and be hated by the world around us, what does that say? It says that we care less about the gospel than Colin Kaepernick does about his protest against the American flag, and less than what the LGBTQ movement has over the last 30 years.
Right.
Guys, we're going to have to realize that the gospel is offensive to a dying world.
Yes, indeed.
And if we preach the gospel and if we stand up for God's truth, we will be hated, and that's okay. So we have to get used to the fact that there are just some people that are not going to like. And guess what? Here's the real tragedy. This guy made a passionate statement for the gospel and then cowered.
That's right.
And guess what? The LGBTQ movement is not going to forgive him.
No.
They will use every opportunity to go after him and crush him, because there is no concept of forgiveness in the secular left. They don't have one. There's no redemption.
That's true.
There is power, and there is domination, and there is surrender. But you don't get peace once you surrender.
No, you
because
don't.
they will continue to grind that man into the ground.
That's right.
And so he has sold the gospel out in exchange for a bag of magic beans.
That's right.
Hope he gets a beanstalk.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Well, brothers and sisters, I'm so glad you joined us for this month's Around the Horn. We hope that you join us next month. And remember, we are the church.
Amen.
And we are the church militant. And if we don't have each other, we don't have anybody. So we're stronger together than we are separate. Thank you for joining us today. God bless.
Amen.